Downey syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, and Turner syndrome explained. Another name for Downey syndrome is trisomy 21. Why trisomy 21? We are going to see. Another thing we need to know is that Downey syndrome is for both males and females. Klinefelter syndrome is for only males. Then Turner syndrome is for females. Downey syndrome is for males and females. Klinefelter syndrome is for males. Then Turner syndrome is for females. Now, these are disorders and they manifest in terms of chromosome number within the cells of an individual. However, we need to go back and see their cause. They are caused by abnormalities that occurs during meiotic cell division, whereby meiosis refers to the division of the nucleus of a cell to produce 4 daughter nuclei, each having half the number of chromosomes of that of the parent nucleus. That is our meiosis. So this is the normal meiotic division. You begin with 26 chromosomes, and 46 chromosomes, and these 46 chromosomes manifest in terms of 23 exist as 23 pairs of homologous chromosomes. Homologous chromosomes. By homologous, I mean chromosomes that have got the same genetic information and the same structure. Is to do with genetic information and to do with the structure. So according to Mendel's first law of inheritance, it states that the characteristics of an organism are determined by internal factors which occur in pairs, and only one factor of such a pair can be carried in a single gamete. And here Gregor Mendel was referring to alleles. However, these alleles are carried on loci that are located on chromosomes. Now, the 23 pairs of homologous chromosomes, they are the ones forming 46 chromosomes. Each of the chromosomes we are talking about here is having 2 sister chromatids. In other words, that chromosome exists as this. Each chromosome is having 2 sister chromatids joined by a centromere. So here we have got 46 chromosomes, each having 2 sister chromatids. As during the cell cycle, chromosomes duplicate to make sure that each one is having 2 sister chromatids. Now, meiosis occurs through 2 main stages. We have meiosis 1, which you can also call reduction division. Reduction division. This is very important. This is where genetic variation results. Now, what happens? According to Mendel's first law, we expect the 46 chromosomes to divide, to separate into, as the nucleus is dividing to form 2 nuclei, each one will be taking 23. There we shall say that meiotic cell division has agreed with Mendel's first law of inheritance, or the law of segregation, because we shall assume that both chromosomes have sorted independently or have separated very well. Okay. Now meiosis 2 again occurs in the resultant nuclei. Each by meiosis 1, each is having 23 chromosomes, but each chromosome here still is having 2 sister chromatids. I want you students, especially students of senior 6, to note that one very well. Each chromosomes, after the division by meiosis 1, each chromosome is having 2 sister chromatids, but they are now separated. Now, meiosis 2 again occurs. However, this meiosis 2 is exactly like a mitosis. Why? The chromosome number is preserved, is conserved here. What happens? each one is still is having 23, 23, 23. Okay? But however, the 23 chromosomes we're talking about now, we're talking about single chromosomes where each chromosome is having two arms, the long arm, or you can also call the two arm, and the short arm, or which you can call the P arm, joined by centromere. You all know that a centromere is made up of a non-histone protein called the kinetochore that does not stain on staining. Therefore, now we have got 23 chromosomes, we have got 4 daughter nuclei, but each is having now 23 chromosomes that are single, not duplicated. So that is the normal meiosis. Now, these resultant nuclei, the cells they are contained in, they are the gametes. They are the gametes. When we talk of gametes, we are referring to either sperms or sperms or egg cells for the case of females. Sperms or eggs. So that is our normal meiosis. However, to get these syndromes, Downey's syndrome, Klinefelter's syndrome, and Turner's syndrome, meiosis occurs in an abnormal way. Okay? That results into variation, change in terms of chromosome number. Now, meiosis of one occurs in this chromosome. Now they are duplicated. They are 46 but duplicated. Meaning also, also the DNA is also duplicated here. Now meiosis 1 occurs. Now instead of having 23, each having half, what happens? One is having more, another one is having less. What happens? That one occurs during anaphase 1. During anaphase 1, what happens here is that during anaphase 1, we expect chromosomes to separate. To be pulled to opposite what? Nuclei. We expect them to separate. Now what happens for this disorder to happen? Some chromosomes fail to separate. For example, the ones instead of separating, because when they separate well, each 23 duplicated will be taken to one pole of the cell, and 23 duplicated be taken to another pole of the cell. Now what happens is some homologous pair, a homologous pair of chromosomes fails to separate. What happens? That pair of chromosome will be taken to one of the poles without separating. The other one will separate well, but one of the pair fails to separate. That one is very important to note. So one takes more, one less. But remember, meiosis, as I told you, it preserves chromosome number. So as a result, the resultant sperms or eggs, these ones are now gametes, either sperms or eggs. Some will be having more, will be having 24 chromosomes. Some will be having 22 chromosomes. Now, what happens is this one here. Now, let us talk about Downey's syndrome. Downey's syndrome. How does it arise? You can also call it trisomy 21. What happens is that an egg cell, these disorders are very common in eggs, especially eggs of ladies that normally get children at old age, about 40 years and above. So this one is an egg cell. It comes with 24 chromosomes. Then a sperm cell is going to come with the normal number 23 chromosomes. So on fusing, what happens? The total will be 47 chromosomes. That one will be the total. However, for Downey's syndrome, the pair that fails to separate, the pair at the chromosome 21 will be having two homologous chromosomes two homologous chromosomes, and one non-homologous and one non-homologous chromosome at chromosome 21. These chromosomes have been assigned in numbers. We don't just count them. There is pair 17, pair 1, pair 6, pair 12. We don't just count them. Now, chromosome pair 21 is having two homologous chromosomes which failed to separate due to non-disjunction that occurred during anaphase 1. Non-disjunction meaning failure of homologous chromosomes to separate. So this individual here, meaning, is going to be having 45 autosomes, and plus, if he's a female, XX, 45 plus 2, you are getting 47. Or if he's a male, 45 autosomes. Autosome means body chromosomes, which I'll make another video about 2 types of chromosomes. Then plus XY, and that one will be a male. This is a female, this is a male. So that is Down syndrome. We shall with time discuss signs and symptoms of these disorders. Now that one is very important. Now let's talk about Klinefelter's syndrome. Klinefelter's syndrome. Now what happens here in Klinefelter's syndrome? An egg cell is going to come with 45. I told you that this one happens in males. Happens in males. 24 is going to come with 24 chromosomes, egg cell, plus a sperm cell having the normal number 23 chromosomes. What results is 47 chromosomes. That's very important. However, for Klinefelter's syndrome, I repeat, it occurs in sex chromosomes, meaning this egg cell, what happens is this egg cell is going to have 2XX. They fail to separate. Now a sperm cell has come with the Y chromosome. What happens is having 44 autosomes or body chromosomes plus XY, and this is a male. Instead of having the normal XY genotype in terms of sex, is having XXY. Lastly is Turner's syndrome. We shall discuss also the signs and symptoms in another video. Turner's syndrome. So Turner's syndrome, what happens? The egg cell comes with 24 chromosomes plus the sperm cell comes with 23 chromosomes. This is a sperm cell, and finally they fuse to form a zygote having 47 chromosomes. Now what happens is that also Turner's syndrome occurs in sex chromosomes. So what happens is that Turner's syndrome occurs in sex chromosomes. Sorry, let me correct a little bit something here. For Turner's syndrome, this egg, that one of the egg cell comes when it is having 22 chromosomes but lacking an X chromosome. So 22 chromosomes, and the total here will be 40. The total here will be 45 chromosomes in the zygote. Now what happens is that this person here is having 44 autosomes or body chromosomes plus 1 X, and is a female. In other words, is X naught. These females are normally barren. These issues arise in children that are born of mothers that are elderly, about 44, close to menopause, because these eggs have overstayed under arrest in the quiescent phase of cell division. In the quiescent phase outside of cell division, they tend to have these issues of non-disjunction, and this is Turner syndrome. This is Downey syndrome. That is how it manifests. Another name for Downey syndrome is trisomy 21, because at 21 position we have got two homologous and one non-homologous chromosome. But you can also call it Mongolian idiot syndrome. They are called the Mongolian idiots. We shall talk about signs and symptoms of each. Klinefelter syndrome, those are XXY men instead of the normal XY. Then Turner syndrome, those are the X naught women instead of the normal XX. Thank you very much.